So thanks for jumping on today, guys. Much appreciated. Got a pretty special call tonight for a couple of reasons. Alan is on the call. However, he's, I think, dropping off his kids, so he's going to sort of be in and out. So hopefully we can catch him for a bit there. But we're very excited because we've got Crystal Wilson and Bruce Donachie, and I know a lot of you guys are obviously know Bruce. Crystal and Bruce actually were our personal enrollers and sponsors for Isagenix, and have been there from the get-go. They just led with just such an impressive start to this business that it really drew Peter and I in. And so they've been a massive support for us all the way through from the beginning. But in this company, they've been legendary. They've won the President's Quest. They've won ISA Derbies. They're Start Ambassador, Start 1000. I think they did 6 figures in 4 months. So they were truly people that we were so proud to be able to follow and duplicate into this business. And so we're going to have Crystal having a bit of a chat to us all on branding and also how you could be capitalizing in this pre-enrollment stage, and what essentially we should all be doing in the UK right now, as it is a unique situation, a little bit different to Australia. So Crystal, I'd love you to kick us off this morning and introduce yourself and take us away.
Yeah, hey, thanks so much for having me. It's so nice to see all these faces. I've been hearing so much about you guys. I've had a really big think about, the opportunity that you guys have, and me and Bruce and Alan were discussing it this morning. It's like, if I could go back in time and be given a pre-launch before I started my business, it's such an incredible opportunity. I'm so excited for you guys. So initially, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is how to capitalize on the pre-launch. So at this point, what I believe would be most beneficial to you, and if I could have gone back in time knowing what I know now and done this is how I would have done it. And Alan was the same. And I think it's about, first of all, getting really organised. A lot of you born and bred in the UK, or you've been living there. Like, is it similar to what Bruce and PJ, you live there or born and bred there?
Mix and match. Probably 70% born and bred.
Yeah, awesome. So really, the best way to describe pre-launch is kind of looking at all of you guys. You guys have had relationships with Bruce and PJ. You've watched their journey. You've watched their success. And that's really what has got you intrigued. It's why you've been on these calls at 9 p.m. 3 times a week for the last few weeks. So that's really the people that you want to look for in the pre-launch. Because the reality is that products are still not going to be available for 4 to 6 months. So going out there and focusing on trying to find people who want to improve their health and lose weight is definitely important, but I don't know if it's the time for that. I believe the time right now for you guys is about reconnecting with your network. Okay. The reality is, in this business, the people who will grow your business and will say yes to you, will hand over their credit card and build with you, are your acquaintances. That's something that we learned very early on. The people that you used to go to school with, the people that you haven't seen in a few years, similar to this situation. I mean, you guys, how long's it all been since you guys all saw each other, So first thing is, talking about getting your list together of your people in the UK, okay, that you feel have a need, desire, want for these products from a health benefit, and then also people that you feel are entrepreneurial, who want more out of life, people that you see posting that they're not earning enough, people that have that X factor, who are really charismatic, who know how to talk to people, who are excited about life. So kind of getting that list together of who you think is going to be people who want the products, but more importantly right now in pre-launch, who you think would kill this business, who is looking for this opportunity, who's looking for what you now have. With the people that are looking for what we have and you think would smash it in this business, what I would get to work on is contacting them, building that relationship. Not all of those people you're going to have spoken to in the last year. There's going to be people in your network that you haven't spoken to in 2-3 years. So it's so important to kind of start reaching out authentically, building the relationship, asking the right questions to find out, what's going on in their life. How's work going? How's family life? Have you been traveling? All those kind of questions are going to pique their, so that you can find the reason as to why you can then talk to them about this opportunity that you've got. So that would kind of be my first thing, is really focus. When we started, obviously we started on the products. So our initial posting on Facebook, we shared our own journey on the products, and that's what got people interested in watching our journey. And then what we started doing was spamming them on Facebook. You might have seen it. Obviously you're friends with Bruce and PJ. Here's before and afters, all that stuff. I believe if I could go back and I had a pre-launch, I would slow down on posting about Isagenix on Facebook. I would have worked really hard on creating a great brand of someone who is, fun, positive, always sharing and giving love to others. Success and those things, but I would have focused on the private conversations, because what happened was we originally spammed people on Facebook, and then we tried to build the relationship. And what happened was all they saw, they knew exactly what we were doing. You know what I mean? Like, it was like I haven't seen Joe since high school, been posting heaps about Isagenix. And then I'm like, hey, Joe, how are you? How have you been? I've never messaged him once on Facebook. So it didn't land right. So my advice to you guys is, before you kind of start getting into the full Facebook marketing, which is something that I'll absolutely help everyone with, I would start focusing on rebuilding their relationships, focus on messaging. I mean, it depends on how fast you want to grow, but pre-launch is such an incredible opportunity. But, sending out 3 messages, 10 messages, 15 messages a day to people, reconnecting, rebuilding a relationship to get that conversation flowing naturally again, and back in, them thinking about you again. So that's kind of like how I would start if I were you guys, and then getting that list. Writing down the people who you have a great conversation with, where it goes to, those things that we offer: freedom, money, travel, lifestyle. Then obviously for you guys, it's about, the more excited you are and enthusiastic and passionate, and the stronger your belief in this, it will resonate in every single conversation you have. I mean, when I started, I always said I was so freaking excited that nothing was going to stop me from having success. It was like, this is everything that I have wanted in life, handed me onto a silver platter, and I went for it. And it was my excitement and enthusiasm that people just joined me. I mean, people wanted to have what I had. They wanted that passion, enthusiasm. So that's another thing. Be excited. That initial excitement, I read a book about network marketing the other day, and it said that initial excitement that you get of the possibility of, is this going to happen? Am I really going to earn that money? All of those things that are running through your head, the legacy you're going to create for your families, that only lasts so long. So while you guys are in pre-enrollment, really emphasize and capitalize on that in your conversations. Be excited, get people excited, and then connect them with PJ Bruce. Your role isn't to explain the opportunity. Your role isn't to explain the compensation plan or the products. You are just somebody who is really excited about what you've been given the opportunity, and then you just connect them. So that's how I teach people. Get people excited and get them excited enough to get on a call with me and let me do all the hard work. That's really as complicated as it gets for someone when it's new, especially in pre-launch. Like, it's just such an incredible opportunity. In terms of, so I would focus on private messaging people and building the relationships, being excited. Now, with your Facebook, I was a very big Facebook user before Isagenix. So it naturally was easy for me to just continue to post and share a lot on Facebook. What I have learned is that that's not everybody. The people who, are in the beginning that I was coaching to do exactly what I had done, who weren't big Facebook users, didn't have the same success as fast as I did. So in pre-launch, this also gives you all an incredible opportunity to get way more active on Facebook. I mean, we built a 6-figure income in 4 months on Facebook. I mean, not knowing anything about network marketing, not knowing anything of what we were doing. So, I mean, you guys have got this kind of pre-university before it even launches to learn everything that everyone's, else has learned along the way. So it's just going to skyrocket your business. So with your Facebook, I mean, I know for a lot of guys, because I know Bruce is not a big he's not a big Facebook person. He's like, I'm like, whatever, if you go to the gym, if you go to the shop, if you buy, whatever, you just got to share the things that you think no one cares about. That's his biggest struggle. He goes, no one cares if I'm going to the gym. No one cares if I'm reading this book. But the reality is people actually do. People are so nosy. And if you all of a sudden start being a really active Facebook user, sharing a lot of your life, your feelings, what's going on for you. I know I use the word feelings, and I'm not saying being all like emotional and sappy, you know what I mean? Like just sharing who you are and what you're about, more about your family, the things that you want in life. You create this energy, because so many people jump on Facebook. They spend 8 hours a day on Facebook, literally stalking other people. And what you want to become is someone they stalk. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever someone, like I stalk people all the time. I love it. It's one of my parts. It's like a hobby, right? So you know someone who's really intriguing on Facebook. Do you know what I mean? And you kind of go to their Facebook and you're trying to figure out, what they do the weekend, or maybe you've got a crush on them, whatever, and they don't post. It's like they don't satisfy your curiosity. It's like you're never on Facebook. So what you want to do is pique that curiosity of people, start being way more open about your lifestyle and really focusing on lifestyle posts. And then through that, you want to thread these curiosity posts. I mean, Facebook is all about curiosity. I think once in 3 years I've posted the word Isagenix on my Facebook. I still build curiosity to this day. I'm a big believer in it. It's what created our success, because curiosity killed the cat. When I started this business and I was posting the way I was, people were like, what the hell is Crystal Wilson doing? Like, it was driving them insane, because all of a sudden I went from, someone who just worked, 9 to 5 like everyone else, to someone who was retired. I was retiring Bruce. We were traveling all over the world. We're going first class flight. Like my network, like it was like I couldn't keep up with the messages coming in, because people had to know what I was doing, what had changed. So that's how I believe Facebook should be used. And with the pre-launch, it just means that you guys can, like you've got such an incredible opportunity to really work on all of that. So my key things for you guys would be, get your list together. People, and basically everyone goes on your list. Even people, the biggest mistake people make in sales, and I know a lot of you guys are in sales, they prejudge. It's not your job to make a decision if this is for somebody. It's not your job to say, Bob doesn't have a lot of money, I don't think Bob would do this. Do not do that. Start day dot, never prejudging anyone. Everybody goes on the list, okay? Whether you think they have a need or not, they're on the list. And then I would separate that list and give yourselves, who do you know that's like you? That, that this would excite them. Get those people excited, drip feed information, create curiosity, get them on calls with Bruce, Alan, PJ, Bruce and I. And then the people that are interested in the products, you can slowly start building those relationships with them. Now, I'm not saying don't pre-enroll people who want to lose weight or get fit. Absolutely. Pre-enroll as many people as you can. I just think you should do it via private message versus doing what we all do in Australia, which is a lot of posting on Facebook. I believe that once we have a release date for the products, then we kick in your 10, which is called the 10-4-1 formula to Facebook. Then we can start really kicking up and ramping up the before and afters and the Isagenix related posts. PJ and Bruce, would you kind of like agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think in this time as well, I mean, I saw a post the other day. Was it Chevy? Which one? Chevy did a post, or someone, John? Yeah, I saw some posts you guys did, and they were awesome about these calls. Like, that's the kind of stuff I would be doing now, because people are going to start thinking, what the hell is Chevy doing? What's he up to? But you don't really want them to ever know unless they're on a call with you or talking to you personally. So create these calls, talking about how excited you are about a new venture. Things like that is what's going to get people really watching you. And the thing is, I've been in this business 3 years, almost 3 years now, and no shit, just before we moved back to Canberra, I had a person who's a fitness trainer here in Canberra, never liked a single post of mine, has never contacted me in 3 years, never commented. I didn't even know he was on Facebook. And I reached out to him just by chance, and he was like, Crystal, I've been watching you for 3 years, and I've been like wanting to reach out to you. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's kind of like even the people you don't expect are watching you and intrigued. And then, yeah, so that I just kind of post those kinds of posts. So I just lost my train of thought. Is there something that I've missed, PJ, that you want me to cover?
No, that was freaking awesome. I think the main thing is you can't have one without the other. Like, there's no point in just doing Facebook branding and not speaking to people. And there is a point to connecting with people, but it's going to be 10 times more powerful when you combine both of them. Because, like if you're posting on Facebook, 9 times out of 10, a person will not reach out to you. Like, they're too scared, or they don't know what to say, or whatever, or they hesitate. But it's funny, like if you've got consistent branding, and as soon as you message them and you start having that conversation, 3 or 4 questions in, they're going to be like, what is this thing that you've been posting about? So it makes it so much easier to lead into the conversation rather than you having to bring it up yourself. And that's what you want. You want to create ease, in this business. And that's where both of those things combined really works. But the other really important thing about connecting with as many people as humanly possible through Facebook Messenger is that it boosts the algorithms in Facebook, so that when you do post, more people are going to see that post. So if you don't ever speak to anyone through Facebook Messenger and you start posting and you're wondering why no one's liking or commenting, it's most likely because of that. Because until Facebook realizes that you're actually really friends with that person based on the fact you're having a conversation through Messenger, that's when Facebook will start to put your posts into their feed. So that's why this is a really unique advantage. You could do 4 months of connecting, before you really start your Facebook branding. Like obviously you're going to do it along the way, but like your proper stuff when it launches, you're going to be 10 times ahead of everyone else if you do that.
Absolutely.
That's what I agree with. I'm like, I get excited for you guys, because honestly, if I could go back and have what you have and know 4 or 5 months out that I was going to start this business, and then really like pre-launch, I mean, the conversations I would have had, it'd just be totally different. So it's that's why I think this pre-launch is really what PJ said. It's about massive amounts of connection. And when I say connection, I'm not talking about spamming a generic message about the opportunity to everyone in your network. Absolutely not. I mean, rebuilding relationships with your acquaintances, the people that you don't see every day, the people that you don't have their contact number. They're all friends on Facebook. And also finding those people. I don't know how many people, like what your friends each of you have how many friends each of you have on Facebook, but I would be also using this time to find, like, you want to have as many Facebook friends as possible. I'm not saying add people you don't know who you have 0. I mean, go back and type in the school you went to, or find somebody, for example, say you went to primary school with Bruce and you're friends with Bruce on Facebook, go through Bruce's friends list and add the people that went to your school, the old place you used to work. Go find someone that you are friends with who used to work there, go through their friends and then their friends. I used to spend hours going through my friends and friends and friends Facebook friends list to find people that I knew. If I had mutual friends with them and I may have met them, or I went to school with them, or I had a relationship, I really focused on, expanding. I went from I think I had maybe 600 friends, and now I've got 3,500. Do you know what I mean? Friends on Facebook. And you can have a 5,000 max. So that's something that I would also concentrate on doing.
And that's an interesting point as well, because a lot of people and this is, you guys, you do business development and networking. That's your profession. So you understand that, where you're starting now is like in 2 years' time, you're going to have a much bigger network regardless of whether you're doing this or not. But a lot of people that you're going to bring into Isagenix, they're going to be thinking small-minded, and they were like, well, I've only got 50 friends. I don't think I can really do much with this. But the reality is, if you're a proper network marketer and you've got your blinkers on for the next 10 years, where you start now, your network is going to be 10% of what it's going to be, and so that's why, having that bigger mindset and just adding as many people as you can along the way and make it your goal, like every time you meet someone out and about, wherever it is at work or whatever, just get their details, or at very least get them on Facebook, because Facebook really does become your funnel. You know, it's where you put people into your world, you know, and then they'll start seeing what you're doing. You'll be reconnecting with them through Facebook, you know, and then they might be interested enough to want to learn more about the products, and then you put them in the cleanse page, you know, or they might be interested to learn about the business, so you get them on a call, you know. So it really just does sort of group people together, and it's an incredible tool for so many different reasons. And if you're struggling to work out like where to find friends, there's an actual button. It's both for network marketers and for losers who are trying to find friends. So you just, it's right next to where the messenger button is. It's the little two men or women or whatever you want to call it, and you click on it and it says find friends, and then you can go down and it'll come up with all the different things that you've done in your life. So school, university, where you worked, and you can click on each one and it'll come up with all the people that ever worked at that place, or all the people that ever went to that school. And it's just so easy to expand your network by hundreds just by doing that.
Just a quick add on there, PJ. Make sure, that's a really good point. Make sure that you go into your Facebook settings and you do add where you went to school. You do add where you went to work for the last 10 years, university. So that'll naturally just give you this tool, which is realistically a search bar of your friends in your life or your network of your life. And so you can quite easily go and add those people. But the other thing that's also, Pete mentioned as well, wherever you are, you've got to be thinking about connecting on Facebook, adding those friends on Facebook. And I recently did a trip in the UK for a wedding and some other bits and pieces. So I was meeting quite literally a couple hundred people in that 2-week time frame. But every single person that I had some type of chat with was straight onto Facebook. It's just second nature to me to, well, are you on Facebook? And every single person says yes and connects with you. And now 3 of those people, 4 months later, are now approaching me about the business, and that's because they're acquaintances and we had a great time together, and they've been watching me intensely for 4 months because I've kept up that communication for the 4 months with those people. Okay, so that's what you've got to remember, is just always be remembering, I'll get that person on Facebook. Whatever you're doing, like for example, Chevy, with what you're doing, you can get a lot of those people on Facebook that you're actually also doing the business development and building that business with, and it becomes very almost efficient in both ways, that business and this business, if that makes sense.
It's something that you can really weave into your life, you know, like with all the stuff that you do on a day-to-day basis anyway. Just stuff like that is just so easy to incorporate that. The other really important thing is, if you do post, make sure you set it to public. So when you like write your post, there's a little thing where it'll either say private or you can then change it to public. Because if it's not set to public, then only a very small handful of people will actually see it.
Crystal, you can actually set your entire account to public. I would advise you to do that, just so that it's every time you post, is just set your account to public. You'll be surprised how many people will actually message you who you don't know, especially because like over the next 4 to 6 months, like Isagenix, there's going to be just naturally in a pre-launch, there's a lot of hype, and there will be people who are hearing about this new company, Isagenix, coming into the UK, and they're going to look for somebody. If they don't know someone, they're going to look for somebody to enroll with. So I think that definitely having your account public and using words like, you know, nutritional cleansing and things like that on your Facebook is good. So people, and using the hashtags when we get there. Well, once we have a date, then I'm happy to, we can do a call on exactly the formula to follow every week in order to get that algorithm up about the products and finding a wider, group of people. But I think for now, it's just about reconnecting and building those relationships and asking the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Crystal. Is there anything else that you think noteworthy? Otherwise, you can just jump on anywhere throughout the call.
No, I'm good. I think that's
for now. Bloody brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alan is backwards and forwards, obviously, the kids at the moment. So, Pete, I might get you to jump in here, buddy, and have a chat. I know we're going to talk about three-way calls and exactly. Oh, actually, Al's here. Al, have you got a couple minutes, mate? Because I know you're going to be in and out of. Sorry, I just blocked you while you.
You look like you just woke up. You look like you'd been like through the jungle. Like, it was hilarious. Good work with the hat, Al.
Yeah, I thought I'd put the hat on. Not scare too many people. No, that was awesome. What Crystal shared was awesome. I just wanted to re-emphasize that. Also, when you're pitching the business, just bear in mind. So, if we use an example, the closest one that we've had in Australia is a company by the name of Nerium that did a pre-launch, and I got inundated with messages from people saying, this is an amazing opportunity, all the rest of it. And where I looked at it was, if I was not as successful as I am right now in Isagenix, how would I have taken that message? And there were a couple of those messages I actually thought were really good messages. The problem was that I hadn't spoken to any of these people before, like nothing. It had been crickets for years or whatever, and then all of a sudden I get this message from them asking about me being part of Nerium, and then I'd message them back and just like cross-prospect them myself or whatever. But they didn't even know. They didn't even know that we'd earn $1 million in Isagenix. It was like completely disregard to that. And here they are going, hey, amazing opportunity, get in, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why? Like, there's nothing there. There's no connection there. So I just wanted to re-emphasize what Crystal said. I think you guys have got it absolutely perfect now in the sense that you can build those relationships. And as I'm not sure whether it was Bruce or PJ, I think it was Bruce, said at some point, no, it was PJ actually, sorry. At some point, they're going to ask you. If you guys are posting enough of these Zoom calls up, seeding enough of it on Facebook, then they're going to ask you. So don't just do a generic cut and paste of hey, amazing opportunity, jump in that you send to 1,000 people, because chances are you'll be lucky to get anyone to actually reply to it. So just re-emphasizing that. That was all. I thought it was brilliant what Crystal spoke about. I
was going to say, that Facebook training that Jackson did on Facebook branding and playing the long game? I mean, I think that would be incredible for these guys at some point, do you know what I mean, to watch that. It's probably my favourite Facebook training because, that's the game that Jackson plays. It's all about adding people to Facebook, building the relationship, and he gives you really great tips on how to do that. But, the spamming people, that's when people are trying to get people. Do you know what I mean? And what you do, if you send out those generic messages and spam people with those messages where it's all about you getting them, you don't ask them a single question about if they even have a need, want, or desire for what we have. You just burn you burn your acquaintances, and they're the people,
most people are going to join down the track.
Build this business for you. That will build you $1 million empire. So for sure, I totally agree.
Yeah. Most people are going to join you down the track as well. They're not going to join straight away. If you do want to pick someone that you haven't seen for a while, then the one way that I would do it is I would go in, I would Facebook stalk them, I would reconnect, I would spend 2 or 3 days reconnecting, and then I would come back to them and actually say something like, Crystal, you know what, the last couple of days we've been chatting and I've just absolutely loved spending the time with you. And an opportunity has just arisen for me. Like you would do it in that way if you really, really want to pitch someone that you haven't spoken to for ages, is reconnect for a couple of days and then go back to them and say, hey, I've been thinking about you the last couple of days. I'm part of this company. Maybe for you, may not be for you. If you're interested, let me know. Make it very non-pressure-ish. So that would be let's say I think Crystal's amazing for this business and I'm like, far out, I don't want to miss out on the opportunity of telling her. Spend a couple of days building the business. And that's how I would go with it. So
I love that.
I got to get these munchkins to school.
Sorry, thank you so much for jumping on, Al. Much appreciated, buddy.
Just on that, what else that I love that thing and Al does this to this day. So he'll message someone, talk to them, and then he'll go back 24 hours later. So he'll just let that conversation be authentically about chit-chatting and normal. 24 hours later, he'll go back to me like, Bob, I haven't been able to get you off my mind. Last night when we were chatting, we spoke about X, Y, Z. And, I stopped myself from telling you about Isagenix, because I didn't want you to, feel like I was trying to sell you, but I haven't been able to get you off my mind, and it would be a disservice of me not to share with you what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? So it lands more authentically versus us. When the opportunity comes up to bring up Isagenix, if we are always jumping straight at that first opportunity, it lands incorrectly with your network, because they're waiting. You know what I mean? Once you start doing what we do, and they're expecting you to try and sell them. Do you know what I mean? So we're always thinking of how can we help people without their weird sales meter going off. Do you know what I mean? And getting all weird about it.
That's actually.
I was just one more thing, and then I'll shut up as well. Sorry, is you guys have all these people in the UK. Don't stay behind your Facebook. The biggest mistake I did was build this business 100% behind Facebook. If you've got acquaintances that live in your area, chat them on Facebook, message them back like Al said and say, Bob, let's go for beer. Are you free Friday night? Get in front of as many people as you can. Because then when you're in that face-to-face, that conversation goes completely different to on Facebook. So some people have the skill to be able to talk to someone face-to-face and on Facebook exactly the same outcome. But not everyone has that. So some of you are going to be way better face-to-face or way better on the phone. Facebook Messenger, you won't be able to really translate your excitement, enthusiasm. You just don't have that skill yet. Nothing wrong with that. But if that's you, get in front of your people. Take these people out for coffee. Take them out for lunch. Take them out for a beer, whatever it is, and have as many face-to-face meetings as possible just to catch up.
Yeah, that's a great point, Crystal. Very good point. And for the guys and girls who are actually actively in CFM at the moment, not so much. Obviously, there's a conflict in some way with club owners, and you've got to have that respect for CFM 100%. However, you can maintain and build relationships with everyone in those clubs, right? You can go to that extra degree of keeping and building those relationships with literally hundreds of people over the next 3, 4, 5 months. So just being aware of that and being more authentic is absolute key when you're going through, anything at all. And you can make it fun. So the coffee, the beer, everything I do now, if I'm not behind the computer, I have the time freedom where I can do a lot more things. Tomorrow I'm off to Kangaroo Island with a group of people, but always in the back of my mind, I'm always building this business, right? So everything you're doing socially can be a lot of fun, but you're also networking the whole way through, which is awesome. It's just a great way to be out at work, right? Thank you so much, Crystal. That's just awesome. Jump in if you've got any other bits. Everything you say is gold. PJ, I'll move over to you, mate, because I know you wanted you to have a quick chat about three-way calls. Obviously, the other vital point, obviously, the connecting and networking something, but what do people do when they have some interest from somebody?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much as well, Crystal. That was freaking gold. By the way, Bruce and Crystal just sent me a photo of me in Cancun cashing some girl, and this would have been at our CFM thing. Oh, God, no. Really? You weren't supposed to do that.
What the hell is this photo?
Where the hell?
Before the integrity that Peter's starting to get.
Tommy Barriston, man.
Tommy Barriston.
Corey Barriston.
Yeah, I'm professional now. I'm professional.
Is she in your business, Peter, now?
Actually,
she was actually from
another story
Russia.
for you,
So
Chevy.
I'll wait till it opens there.
He cleansed her.
Anyway, so just really quickly before I get into the three-way calls, there was one thing that Crystal said right at the start, and I wrote down a little note. Obviously, what she was saying is that she built so much of her business based around excitement and, energy about this opportunity. And I know you guys already get it. You're already, wanting to learn. But one of the biggest things that, we get our energy and excitement from is the events. And that's something that you guys don't have yet. So maybe the energy and excitement might not be as amplified, but that's why it's so important to be going through the podcasts and the videos and, jumping on these calls like you guys are doing, because that's where you're going to get that energy and excitement from, seeing as you don't have the events yet. So I just wanted to make that little point is if you haven't been doing that, just do it in the car or at the gym, put a podcast in, every day, and you're going to hear these amazing stories, you're going to hear from the best people in the world. So just make sure you keep doing that. But yeah, so my sort of thing, sorry?
Well, I was going to say something just around the events, because you guys aren't going to have events, do you know what I mean, for a little while. But when I first started this, I was working full time, and I created a $100,000 yearly income in Isagenix without going to a single event. So because I worked and I couldn't get there. So just because there's not going to be events, there's so much for you to plug into. But I'm telling you, if you guys aren't excited, I mean, like, borrow my excitement and my belief, the opportunity that has landed on your doorstep. I literally got chills. You don't know what you don't know, but trust me. I mean, you have everything to be excited about, like everything. So just trust that, and listen to podcasts, of course, as well. But be excited.
And the opportunity calls that we're going to be doing, you know, we're going to be having people on like Alan and Crystal. We're going to get Jackson Parr on, who you guys might have heard before, who enrolled Alan and just absolute legend. So these are going to be really exciting things for not only you to put your team into, but for you guys to get on, and you just hear all these different stories, and it's definitely the way to get your energy. Am I broken up there?
You're all good.
Hear me? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, three-way calls is what I'm talking about. So, as Crystal said right at the end there, you know, the best way to connect with a lot of people in a short period of time is through Facebook. There's no doubt about it. It's an incredible tool for that. You know, and you can, with one push of a button, you can reach 1,000 people. But network marketing was around long before Facebook ever started, and people built $1 million businesses well before Facebook ever started. And it really came down to a few things. You know, it came down to events, it came down to launch parties, and it comes down to three-way calls. Three-way calls is literally the pinnacle of network marketing in terms of skills that you can develop. For so many reasons. Like with Bruce and myself, I'm just going to close my phone off because these guys are typing in the background. Where was I going? Yeah, so with Bruce and myself, right? So when we first started, we were exactly like you guys. You know, we'd had our CFM experience, you know, sales experience, all that sort of stuff. So when we came into this and we really caught the vision, we were like, man, we're going to freaking kill this. You know, we've got fitness industry background, business development, sales skills. And yes, like we had quick success, you know, in a short period of time, nothing like what Crystal did, but relatively, you know, pretty quick success. And that was because we were enrolling, you know, quite a lot of people, right? And then what happened after about 4 or 5 months, we basically plateaued. Like our business didn't, no matter what we did or how many enrollments we did, we just couldn't get to that next level in terms of our residual income. But what we did, that was the biggest mistake we made, was that we weren't coachable from day one, and we weren't willing to implement the things that we kept hearing over and over again at these events, and that, you know, Crystal and Alan would tell us. We were like, no, we're going to do it our way, blah, blah, blah. And that really, really shot us in the foot for a period of about 12 months. And then it was probably our 8th event where it finally sunk in. You know, we heard someone else explain it in a different way. And that's why the events and those podcasts are so valuable, because, you know, you might have Crystal tell you something and it doesn't really land. But then you might have someone else in America say it a different way. And then you're like, oh yeah, that really makes sense to me. I'm going to implement that. So that's why all the training stuff is so important, because it's just different people saying it in a different way. So as soon as it finally landed for us, we were like, okay, three-way calls is going to be the way that we build this business. In my opinion, it's really three-way calls and events is how you build the business. Facebook is just a way to attract a lot of people, you know, and to make a lot of connections. But to truly build like a network marketing business, you've got 4 real key things. So enrolling is obviously one of them. And in the sales game, you know, that's all you need to do is you just need to sell something and then the transaction's over. But the key is it's then retention, you know, so helping that person have a great experience by giving them the best support possible. And then it's duplication. So once someone's had a great experience and they decide they want to start sharing, you need to be duplicatable. You need to make it really simple and easy for them to turn around to their friend and do exactly what you did. And then it's leadership. So creating leadership through empowering people with these tools, you know, and what to do, how to say, and then over time and repetition, they're going to be empowered and they're going to realize that they can then do that for their team, and that creates leadership. So Facebook really only covers, you know, the enrolling aspect and maybe a bit of the retention, but it doesn't necessarily, you know, create duplication, and it definitely doesn't create leadership. So that's why three-way calls are an essential part to your business. And that is really, for the last 12, 16 months, is the way that Bruce and I have built our business, and the same with Crystal and Bruce. So a couple of things on three-way calls. So I've covered a few of them, but some of the big key things about why three-way calls are so powerful is, firstly, it takes you out of the equation. So you can imagine, you know, if you're speaking to your friend, Bob, you know, and you guys are, you know, old mates or whatever, and then all of a sudden you start talking to him about this, this nutritional business that you're about to start. All of a sudden he's going to get these walls up thinking that you're going to be selling him something, you know, and it creates that kind of awkward barrier. Not all the time, but a lot of the time that does happen. And so with a three-way call, you get to take yourself out of the picture completely, you know, so you can say, look, you know, I'm really excited about this. I don't know a great deal about it, but, you know, my friends in Australia have been absolutely killing it, and I'm really excited for this to launch, you know, sometime halfway through this year. And then if they say, look, well, what's it all about? How does it work? And I say, look, you know, I could probably tell you a few bits and pieces, but I'm only just getting started. But what I can do is I can actually link you up to Crystal. She's been doing this for over 2 years. She's made you know, well over a 6-figure residual income and is absolutely smashing it. And I'm sure that I could probably get her on the phone if you really want to know more. And so all of a sudden, like, you're out of the equation. They don't think that you're trying to sell them anything, but you're also doing them a favor. You're like, you know, you can get them in touch with someone that's had massive success in Australia, so that you're building the value of that person and setting up that call. So that's the first thing. But then the second thing is, this business is so much, like, the key to it is about simplicity. When we first started, what we were doing is, and, you know, a lot of people start out this way. So if you can not do this from the start, you're going to be 10 steps ahead of where we were. We would write these Bible messages on Facebook, you know, like massive messages explaining the cleanse or explaining the business. And it never, ever lands. Like, I don't think none of us would have sent a message like that where we got a good response. So we were just doing everything on Facebook. And the other thing, through Facebook, you know, you could get someone that's interested and you're having a backwards and forwards conversation for 2 months, 4 months, 6 months on Facebook. It just takes so much time if you're doing it that way. Whereas if you get them at the point where they're interested and they want to learn more, it's going to speed up the process so much more and make it so much more powerful. And you're going to enroll so much faster through just getting them onto a three-way call or one of these, you know, group calls. And you just do it exactly like the way I just mentioned before. So it means that you also get to leverage your time in this business. Even if you're full-time in your job, you've got a, you know, family of 3, you know, it's all about leveraging our time, you know, and leveraging your own time by getting them on the phone to us, so that you don't have to do all of that hard work. You let us paint the picture for them. And then what's going to happen is, once they realize that, oh shit, that, you know, so let's say you've enrolled someone, you know, you've got them on a three-way call, and they're really keen to start sharing. And all you say is, look, all you need to do is do exactly what I did for you. You just need to get the excitement, create that energy and just say, look, I don't know a great deal, but I know I can get you on the phone to Chevy. Chevy's now been doing this for 6 months, and he'll just be able to explain it heaps better than I can. And then it just creates simplicity in people's minds. As soon as someone realizes that it's that simple, they're going to be 10 times more likely to share, right? And and that creates duplication and simplicity through your business. And duplication really is the key to it all. If you're not duplicating, you're not growing a massive residual income. It's as simple as that. And Bruce is going to go through like the tools and the systems, but this is like the best tool in your toolbox is three-way calls, because the way I see, you guys have all asked us for like, what link do I send to what person? And links and videos are great to send to people. But the way that I see it is three-way calls is all about building up the value and the excitement for people. And then you back it up with the tools or the videos, which creates that logical value for them, if that makes sense. So you're getting someone in contact with someone that's had massive success, they've shared their story, they get them pumped up about the opportunity. And then, you'll realize that person's like, yeah, I'm really keen for this. Then you back it up with the information. Because if you're just sending them information, think about what else goes on in their life after that. They might not even open it, or they might open it and then they speak to their friends, who doesn't know anything about it and says something bad about it. Whereas if you've built up that value and you've got them on the three-way call or the group call first, and then you back it up with the information, it's just going to be that much more powerful.
Yeah.
What else did I want to say? Oh yeah. And then the final thing with three-way calls is it's also just as valuable for you, the one that's setting up the call, because every time you set up a call with Crystal or Bruce or me or Alan or whoever it is, you're going to be listening in the background. That's the awesome thing, is you just put it on mute. If you're doing it on a phone or you're on one of these Zooms, you get to listen in the background and, you'll hear how Crystal explains, the cleanse, or how she explains and paints the vision. And if you do that over and over again, guess what happens? You learn exactly what she does and how she does it. And it's the same with, with anyone. Most people have, usually 4 or 5 things that they cover. Like I'll be, finding out about them and asking questions about what they want. I'll share my story. I'll explain how the business or the products work or whatever they want to know. And then I'll let them ask questions. That's the sequence that I follow every time. And it's going to be very similar for everyone else. So you'll all of a sudden, you'll have set up 10 or 20 of these calls, and all of a sudden you're the expert. And that's where it really changes in your business. Like once you've set up enough of these, you're going to be like, yep, I've got this. And you're going to have people in your team that are just starting out, and you're then going to be able to say, look, all you need to do is get them on the phone to me. I'll do the rest for you, because you're now the expert and you've set up that many three-way calls. And then that's going to start to duplicate. So then they become the expert, and then they start doing it for their team. So that's pretty much it, guys. Like all I really wanted to cover on is how valuable they are going to be if you do them from day one. And, you're going to be really shit at them to start with. Like most of you will probably get it really quickly, but we were so crap at setting up three-way calls, but we knew that we had to master this skill. So we just did it over and over again until we got really comfortable in how to set them up, what to say. And I've used an example a couple of times, but you just keep it really, really simple, so you get them excited. They're asking more and say, look, I've only been doing this for a little while. What I can do though is get you in touch with Peter. He's been killing it in Australia, and he can just explain it all for you. Keep it really simple. And that's pretty much it, really.
Yeah, cool.
PJ.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, PJ.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan just had a question there.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Fire away, Ryan.
How you doing? We've reached out to a few people who we thought would be interested in the business that we know fairly well. And the main thing we're getting is, you know, tell me about it, send me some information, send me a link or whatever it might be so I can have a look at it. And we get the feeling that getting them to a video call or whatever it may be is doesn't seem very English. You know, we're all right because we're from this sort of sales background. It's something that it strikes a bit of fear into them, I would say.
Yeah. So what you could do, a couple of alternatives, is you could start with a Facebook group chat. A lot of the time it's, you know, we get the same sort of resistance sometimes with people when we suggest, you know, a three-way call, for example.
Don't call it a three-way call, by the way, guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing, is don't call it a three-way call. Just say, look, I would love to introduce you to my friend Peter on the phone, and just so that he can really sort of paint the picture for you what it's all about. But if they are resistant to that, just say, okay, cool. I really just want to make sure that I get you the right information. You know, you're a really good friend of mine, and I want to make sure that you're given everything that you need to make the best decision for yourself. And this is honestly the best way for you to do that. You just have a quick chat with these guys, you know, and they'll be able to explain it all for you. But if you are not comfortable in getting on the phone with them straight away, let me just set up a Facebook chat with you guys. I'll introduce you. You can ask, you know, any questions that you like. And then it's my job as the expert to, you know, build the value, find out more about them, and then eventually say, look, why don't we just jump on the phone? Like, it'll just be heaps easier for me to explain it. And then we sort of transfer into the three-way call.
Yeah, another one there, Ryan, mate. Like, and I get this a fair bit as well. So it's a great question because it's something we all run into with some different people, and I love it because that's right. We're all different cultures, right? So it's a little bit different in each country. But with English, I would just be assumption. I'd just go straight into it and say, "Hey, I'm setting up a chat now." Like, I'd just assume it's done, rather than be tiptoeing around the idea. Oh, can I get you on a call? Or can I get you on a three-way chat? I would simply just say, "Hey, mate, yeah, I'm going to set you up with my mate PJ," and just set it up and say, "Hey, Pete, this is my mate Joe. He was just asking a couple of questions. I know you're a bit of a, you know, whiz with it all. Can he answer? Just ask permission of them, PJ, and say, can he ask you a couple of questions?" And then straight away, Pete or I, if you've got two of us in it, it's going to be likely one of us will be there faster and can get straight into it. Just be simple and open. Say, "G'day, mate. Yeah, what do you need today, bro?" And it can be just so easy, and it doesn't have to be formal. It could be just straight into it. And as soon as we're engaged to it, either he's going to ignore it, right? But there's a high chance that he'll just say, "Oh, shit, okay, cool. Yeah, what's up? How's it work?" And then we can just gently explain the basics and lead it from there. But we'll also, in a couple other calls, we'll be discussing like the follow-up process, how to really get good at that. And it just takes practice, mate. And I think, like Pete said, the name of the game is definitely creating leadership in your business. And in order to create leaders, you need to become a leader yourself. So the faster you do that via repeating that process of three-way calls, the faster you'll develop leaders in your business, because you'll be able to be that expert for your leaders and they'll learn off you very quickly and can develop that themselves. So it's that simple duplication, but it definitely starts with the three-way calls. Sorry, Crystal.
Ryan, you know, the thing is for all of you guys is that you are not meant to know anything. You don't know anything. So when you're excited and you share, whether it be about the products or the business opportunity with your friends and mates, and they start firing questions at you, be normal and go, "Bob, I don't know anything about it, mate. All I know is I'm freaking excited. And I want you to speak to my mate Bruce. I want you to speak to PJ because he's explained to me. I've got no idea. I couldn't explain it if you wanted me to, because that's the truth. And when you're honest and you say, "I don't know," and I promise you, I don't know is the most powerful thing you can say to anyone in this business, because they're expecting you to know. They're expecting you to sell them. And when you turn around and say, "Mate, I got no idea. All I know is that my mate's been doing it for X amount of years. He's earning this much money. The products are amazing and I'm friggin' excited. And I couldn't think of anyone else but you that I'd want to do this with. So speak to my mate PJ. I'm setting up a message." Keep it simple. Don't feel like you have to know. Be honest and say, "I don't know," because I promise you your friends are going to be like taken back that you don't know, because they're thinking that this is the sales pitch, and it's not, because you don't know anything. You're just excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Chris. That's a really good point. Really good point. Yeah, guys, hand in hand, like Pete suggested this as well, obviously there's so many tools and systems in place to really start getting that knowledge into you. And the sooner you do that, obviously the more confidence you'll have with talking about it and linking up that three-way call and just having some of the right tools to then link up to that person after the three-way call. So Pete's already put a lot of detail in that UK or Executive Clubs UK page. So you can start scrolling through there because there is plenty of good stuff in there. And if you are shooting us a question, the most likely answer from Pete and I will be tagging you in one of those posts because it's there and it's done the best possible way. There's a couple podcasts that we're going to send you the whole lot. I know Pete sent a few links already in that sheet, but we'll send you the actual podcast. There's Team Take Action and Team Success that we generally use, and the top Canadian leaders, and they're just fantastic. And there's weekly calls from the latest one on Team Action was from Jimmy the Butcher, the #1 income earner in the world for Isagenix, I believe from New York, but him and his daughters, his family, they've earned cumulatively over $50 million to date within Isagenix. He started this business at 72 years old. You can imagine, incredible guy. And it's just, it just shows anyone can do this business, right? Anyone at all. And so that's a great one. I listened to it yesterday on the couch and it's just blowing away. Like I've heard him 4 or 5 times and every time he speaks, it's just brilliant. And it does pump you up. And you get some really good information from the guys who've been leading the path before us. So I'll definitely be posting them up. Isagenix Business, which is our Bible online about the business, the real step-by-step scenarios for all of you guys to follow from the get-go. There's some slight differences there because of the pre-enrollment stage, and that's why we really want to continue these calls to support you guys going through. But educating yourself on the products, absolutely go nuts. We'll have more details coming out about what's being launched in the UK. That full range isn't coming out, of course. There is going to be a fantastic pack that will get the results we're always talking about. So educating on those core products which you put out there. And the key thing, and Crystal said that at the beginning perfectly, so I won't go into it, but nobody knows how this works at the start. When you join in or create an Isagenix business at the beginning, you're walking blind at the beginning and you're relying on the people, your sponsors, to show you the way. So don't feel like, oh God, I don't know how to set up a three-way call. That sounds a bit bloody scary, to be honest. That's exactly how everyone feels, and just lean on us as much as you can because that's exactly what we're here to do. So don't feel like you're on your own. You're definitely not. Like, we are all one team here to look after each other. A couple things. I've added you guys, most of you, into the Cleanse with Friends page in Australia, okay? So some of you might not be in there. And so those of that you have actually enrolled, Johnny, Harry, etc., those who have enrolled people, it's now your job to be able to enroll the others into this. So the first thing about this page is a couple just key things. Obviously, no offensive behaviour, no banter in a negative way. I know us in CFM, we had a lot of that going on, but we've got to remember with this group, Cleanse with Friends, there's a lot of people that are vulnerable, going out on a limb, really looking to better themselves and need that support. A lot of people who may have been overweight, for example, for 45 years have really gone out on a limb and they're so vulnerable and scared about starting this. This page is really about supporting them and looking after them. So using that page with integrity and feel free to be able to support anyone. Everyone's there looking after each other. So it's your page to comment and fill people full of love. And it's particularly when you are introducing prospects who are interested in doing the Cleanse, to really look after them, support them when you're adding them in. So the way I've added you guys into that, those who were in it, I think most of you on the call, you'll see how I added you guys. So you can legitimately copy and paste that. So it explains how to use the page. Depending on the person, obviously you can tag them in certain things, but make sure you are introducing people with integrity, because that's step one of duplication. So if you're not doing it right, that person's not going to do it right, and all of a sudden you're going to have a problem in your hands because nothing's duplicating the right way and it's slowing people from having success. So just be good ambassadors of that page, because it is your page as much as Crystal's and mine and PJ's and where it's all of our pages. So we're going to look after it together to maximize this business. Now going into the UK Executive Clubs page. So this is your page. This is the UK page. You guys will be using it more than us, I dare say, because this is going to be the biggest business tool for you guys for communication, but also once someone's shown interest and has come on this call or their opportunity call that we're going to be doing each Sunday, that is the first place that you can add them to where you can actually start showing them some of the tools, some of the systems, and backing up that call with relevant information and the credibility of this business straight away. So I have added you all to that already. Make sure you treat it the same as the Cleanse with Friends page. So Cleanse with Friends purely for product people only, someone looking to get something health-wise. Executive Club purely for someone who's actually looking at this as a business. Okay, so add them to the right way, explain how the tools work. We'll be doing another call, and I will go through individual calls of how to use that page effectively. We are at the top pin post. If you scroll down, you'll see there's hashtags, and a hashtag will represent what area of the business you're looking for. So if you're wanting to look at this call next week to show a friend, you can just go hashtag Zoom calls, and all the Zoom calls will pop up, and you can just go to the right one, right? Or it could be hashtag compensation plan, hashtag events. And so you can really navigate your way through, because obviously in another 2 months, there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of posts through there. So it's just a great way to guide, but we know that, but we've got to make sure everyone else who comes to the page knows that. And so they can tell their people. Always be thinking that duplication. And you guys, it's your page, like I said. So if you find something that's really cool, something you think will help others, add it into that. Like the more people are adding stuff in there, the more way we're working together, the better success for all. So feel free to comment, tag, ask questions, add content. This is definitely your page to start running. The last thing on the page is make sure people are ready to go on the page. So if you've had a brief conversation with someone, they're like, yeah, I'm pretty keen, I'll have a think about it over the weekend. That's not someone you add to the page straight away. You want to get them to a point where they're like, I'm so bloody keen. I wanted to speak to you for the last 3 weeks. I want to start tomorrow. How do I do it? You can go through a 3-way chat straight away. We can talk to them through the prices, go through all that. Then that person is added to the Cleanse with Friends page about the products. What you don't want is a huge amount of people going to these pages that are just you've spammed or you've just spoken to and trying to use that. Once you've had a sincere conversation with them, absolutely. And that's more important with the Executive Club page, because this is a business page. It's for people who are taking this seriously. So you don't want to use that as a prospecting tool for someone who might be interested in the business. You really only use that when someone's at least had taken part in the Zoom call with us all, has been in the opportunity call, and we've discussed in a 3-way chat, okay, these are the first basic steps. Then we can add them to the executive page, because the same thing is, it's really, you're just shooting fish and sea, right? You don't really want to be adding random people into that page, because it could really just turn people off straight away. And the last thing with that is notifications. Notifications do tend to piss off everybody. For you guys, in a couple of weeks, couple of months, you'll be used to notifications. You'll just be able to go through important, not important, important, not important. And there'll just always be notifications there. Excuse me. But for someone, for example, who wants to lose 15 kgs, and you've spoken to them about it all, they're all excited. You add them to Cleanse with Friends, and they wake up the next morning and there's 270 notifications from that page. They'll be going, delete straight away, because it's just going to annoy the shit out of them. Of course it is. So make sure when you're introducing someone to the page, they go up to the top right. That's in the welcome message that I introduced you guys on. Turn off notifications. Otherwise, a perfect example was Crystal, Bruce, Pete and I. We had a huge amount of people who were actually adding to this page when we set up a new page from another. And we were going through, and this person had left, this person left. And it was a huge startling number of people being added, super keen. The next day they're gone. And it wasn't until Crystal actually went out and asked all these people, what's going on? Is everything okay? Has something happened? And they're like, no, the page is awesome, but those notifications are just like bullet in the head. So obviously that was an awesome thing that Crystal did. And we obviously now introduce everyone with turning off notifications. So it's just a simple thing that makes life so much easier for others. Now, while the big thing for this, and we've talked about it already, I don't need to go through this in too much detail, but why these groups are so important, because it's, in my opinion, it's one of the best duplication tools, and they're so simple to use. So as soon as someone's added, if you've added, say, Joe to the executive page after the first 3-way call and the Zoom call, it's so easy for him to follow this. So he's now spoken to 3 people over the weekend. He's like, jump on Sunday night's call, it explains everything. And then he can add them the same way you added him to Executive Club. So you're just making a very simple step of duplication. And with a lot of the things that Crystal and PJ spoke about today, even Alan briefly there, is you've just got to be organized. So with your lists, with the following step 1 to 5, however you see fit, just be organized, because everything becomes really simple if you're duplicating the right way. The other thing with the pages is the time leverage for most of you working full-time or with kids and basically full-time with the kids. It's a time leverage tool as well. So by adding someone to that when they're ready, for example, both pages, they're both the same principle, right? They're going to be naturally seeing everything that you don't have to be telling them. Obviously, you want to be following up and making sure they're getting everything out of it, but it's also Peter and my job to look after those people as well. But the post there will be teaching you everything when you're working. You might be at work for 9 hours. That person could have gone through a podcast and read the compensation plan. So it's doing a lot of the work effectively for you. And it's the same with leveraging other people's expertise. So as we move along, we've just started. I think there's already 25 people on that page, and you guys are welcome to add anyone who has had a Zoom call, both training and, or at least opportunity, and is in a 3-way chat with Peter and myself, or in a group chat. You can add people into there and welcome them the right way. But then they can learn off the others. So Pete and I can start doing live Zoom calls. Live Facebook chats from there, so we can go through some awesome information, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And we'll have those systems in place so your people are learning straight away. So you don't have to be doing all this grunt work at the beginning. We can do all that for you. Who isn't actually added into Cleanse with Friends right here on the call? Just Richard, yeah, yep. Right, yeah, cool. Okay, so I'll get Harry to add you guys, or add me as a friend. I know, yeah, Richard, you already are. We'll go through that.
I think Johnny was just talking about. Are you talking about people to add them into Cleanse with Friends or to the business page?
The business page.
No, I'm asking Johnny.
Good. Okay, cool. Yeah. So what we'll do.
Okay, so I think what you're talking about is, would you add people to the executives page if they're not pre-enrolled? Definitely not. You know, you want to have a bare minimum commitment that they've pre-registered, that they've got on at least an opportunity call or a small group call or a 3-way call with one of us. And then they've come back to you and they're like, yep, I'm keen to learn, you know, let's do this. That's when you add them to the executives club page. But anyone else, you know, you can add them. Anyone that's interested to learn a little bit more about the products, you can just add them to the Cleanse with Friends page. You know, go nuts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Have you guys got questions of all 3 of the topics? Just put your hand up and I can unmute you if you guys can't do that. I'll unmute everyone.
We covered it well.
Just extending from what Crystal had said before. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you, mate.
No worries. So that's all good. And what you guys have said in regards to, look, just we don't know anything, so hand them over to a 3-way call. I mean, there's instances where you come across people who are, I guess, you know, I did in the gym the other day, have connected on Facebook, all that kind of thing, and got to a certain level of interest on the early stages. He comes from a nutritional background, but, you know, I don't know bugger all about it. But I wonder, do you sort of have an elevator pitch, like a segue in between, you know, a bang, here's a line that gives me some confidence that you know a little bit about it, rather than I'm really excited about this, something I don't really know, but my friends are doing it. Can we get on? Can we get on the phone? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I saw when you mentioned that you definitely want to have a little bit. You want to have the elevator pitch. I don't know, is that me that's echoing? Can you just mute everyone again, Bruce? So and again, that really does come back down to listening to the podcast and the videos, because that's how we developed, you know, our, what you call them, pitches or whatever you want to call it. You know, you develop a great amount of knowledge so that you can refine it into, you know, a short, sharp thing that you can say to people. So like if I'm talking to someone about the products, I'll just say that it's a nutritional cleansing system that you incorporate into your lifestyle. And it really focuses on energy, weight loss, and putting on lean muscle. Just something very simple like that. And then you let them ask you the questions. So, well, how does it all work? You know, what products do you have? And you just say, look, to be in all honesty, I've only just started learning about it myself. You know, I've seen so many great results across Australia. And, you know, if you want to know more, I'm sure I could get you some more information.
Yeah, and
Just
that's
really simple.
That for me is a good sort of segue, at least, you know, to
Yeah. And it's the
to
same
at
with
least give a snapshot of something.
Yeah. It's the same with the business. Like, you can just say something like, you know, I just last night, I got off a call with these guys in Australia who are absolutely killing it with this business. It's like a health and wellness company or business, whatever you want to call it. You know, these are my really good friends from back in Australia who've been doing it for the last couple of years, and they're both retired from the 9 to 5. They're traveling the world, and it's so freaking exciting. I can't wait for it to come out to the UK.
And Chevy, that's a really good point. Is you've got to look at more of the podcast. I know you're time poor, but work out a way that you can be doing some of it each week. Things like Team Isogenics, then you've got all the professional athletes using it. There's got to be a reason, right? But also we're going to be doing calls. We've got a dietitian coming on to a call like this within the next couple of weeks. So a great one for that person to jump on, because, you know, she can be talking factual, educational background, makeup of these products. For us, it's just going to give some credibility. For someone like that, they're going to go, shit, okay, I understand what they're talking about. So we're going to be definitely pulling on more precise educators with the products as we go along. And that'll be a Sunday night call where we can have an entire call purely on the products, for example. So we can really go deep. And that's what you can say to your friend, right? Listen, I know they're going to bring some professional speakers on to have a chat about the products, because, you know, for me, mate, I just know they work because I've tried them. And keep it simple.
And then on the three-way call, that's when we're going to go into the depths about it, you know, and really talk more about how the products work or how the business works. And so you just absolutely, you develop whatever, you know, because as you remember, when you first started CFM, you had all the tools and systems of the training, but every single individual develops their own style. But you can only develop your own style once you really start to go through all the different training systems and tools.
Yep.
Awesome, guys. Anyone else got anything they wanted to quickly ask? No. Cool.
So, yeah, just finally is about the next opportunity call, which we've talked about a couple of times. So it's going to be Sunday, 9 p.m. for you guys, right? And this is one that you just honestly, you want to get everyone on this call. So as I said, you guys have all seen Alan speak. He's amazing. You know, Alan is his own person in the sense that he's just incredible business minded. The other person that we've got on, which is amazing, is Jackson, who enrolled him. So Jackson, just to give you a bit of a background, and we'll sort of send out a message or whatever that you can send to explain the two different people. But Jackson used to be like a PT. He used to play college basketball. When he came back, he was basically a forklift driver in a warehouse making about, $400 a week. So barely surviving. And then he came into Isogenics. He saw the vehicle. He went for it. He's become one of the youngest millionaires in Isogenics history. He's Start 1000, Start Ambassador. Like he's maxed out a business center at his age, which he did that by 27, I think. So he's doing, what Bruce Donachie, what would he be on at the moment, man? Do you know?
Got to be close to 15,000 a week.
Yeah, definitely be around 15 grand a week, I'd say, somewhere around there.
Yeah. And so he's getting close to the $1 million a year residual mark. But he's just such a humble, chilled out guy. Like he's the complete opposite to Alan. But he's just got an incredible story to share. So what we're going to do is we're going to do just a little overview of the products in the first 15 minutes. And then Bruce and I are going to sort of do a Q&A with Jackson and with Alan. So it'll be an awesome call to bring anyone on, no matter what they want, whether it's products or business.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, that's a brilliant call, a really brilliant call. One of the most successful people in Australia, without a doubt. Just the way he's gone about his business. So the more the merrier. We'll upgrade this Zoom so we can actually host more than 50 because I think it's capped out there at the moment. But yeah, we're expecting a lot of numbers in there for that reason. But cool guys, thank you so much for your time tonight. I know these are running quite late and you're up quite late in the UK for those who are working. But any questions, fire them into the group. Use the Executive UK page and we'll liaise through there and set up as many three-way chats, Zoom calls as you like. We're here 24/7 for you all. And good luck this week. Cheers, guys.
Mate, those magpies in the background are making me homesick.
I know, man. Proper Australia right here.
See you guys.
Cheers,
All right.
guys.
See you later.
Have a good one.
Bye.